Welcome back to Sacred Success Salon, where we are speaking with our amazing guests about where we are right now and who do we get to be as we are channeling and downloading the solutions and technologies for the new earth, for the current times, and for the future as the old falls away and we get to create the new. I am your host, Anna Kowalska, and today I'm really excited to have the conversation and see the places we get to go with our guest, Amanda Kunkel. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you for having me.
So excited for this. So let me just say a few words about who you are, just so you know who Amanda is in case you haven't met her. Amanda assists radical, self-thinking businesswomen who have demonstrated business maturity and the ambition for acceleration. These women are ready to embark on dimensional energy shift away from doing into being. They hear the spirit calling loud and are clear to step into their elite empress self. When I read that, by the way, for more about Amanda, just read below the video. There is the rest of her beautiful bio and who she is. But when I read that part of the bio, Amanda, it just spoke to me because it is where I sense we are moving away from all the doing into being, but owning that empress energy so we can be the ones who rule our roams and allow the solutions to come through. You know what's coming in right now? Maybe we can start there. As I read this, I'm seeing this energy of the old way of the royalty. Like somebody is royalty because they were born into a certain lineage and they are anointed by God to be there. And thus they are privy to some kind of information they know that nobody else knows. And what I'm getting from who you are and what the work you do is that it's available to everyone.
Absolutely.
Let's start there.
Absolutely. It's absolutely available to everyone. I know when I speak when you're on my website or any of my social media, you hear me say the universe a lot. And that was the term that I was given to use. Now, in my own personal life, I refer to the universe as God, a very masculine uh, energy of pure love. So we'll start there with that one because this is where
Right.
the conversation is going to go. So I would say to clients or any of my peep followers, insert under the universe whatever your highest form of love and guidance is.
Mhm.
So I love what you just said about royalty because we all are the sons and the daughters of God,
Mhm.
right? And I don't necessarily mean as God as per any one Bible or religion or creed or anything like that. It's we have that moving to and through us in our bodies and our souls at all times. So, of course, we're royalty. And as royalty, especially with women, um, this is almost going to sound a little cocky, but it's like we all deserve princess treatment. And I don't mean like Disney princess treatment.
Mhm.
It is every single one of us because we are the daughters of the most powerful energy out there, of the ultimate love, that it is up to us to expect nothing else to run through and through us, and thus receiving that exact same thing back. So see, when we put it in that way, right, in that beautiful figure eight, it doesn't sound as cocky or
Yeah.
egotistical. But that is where I love what you're talking about with the royalty. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's running to and through us. So we give it and we receive it. And there should be nothing less.
Yeah, so powerful. I've been a stand for people owning the value, the inherent value in what we receive, the inherent value in like the energy that flows through us. And like whether you call it universe, God, I'm with you. I've done, and I know you have too, done enough healing where I can say God, and it doesn't mean the angry God in the sky that comes to punish. Yeah. So I'm there with you. And I've been a stand that especially those who are awake, those of us who are awake, do value the energy flowing through us and what it comes imbued with. But then it's up to us to bring it forward into the world in a particular way.
Yes, absolutely. And I apologize if my sound just got a little bit wonky there. My earphones, we're gonna call this one a God moment, just died.
Okay. This is better actually. Without the earphones, I can hear you better.
Okay, Perfect. Perfect. I'm so glad about that. So repeat that last sentence there.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been a stand for a long time that those of us who are awake, who know we are here to do something specific for the times we are in, for the evolutionary jump that we are experiencing, or whatever we want to call it, that we get to value the energy that's flowing through us, but it's really up to us how we then bring it out into the world.
Yes, exactly. And so we could choose to ignore it. Like that's it. And we see that all the time. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, right? There's so many wonderful people in this world that ignore it. And they're still wonderful, amazing people, right? With wonderful lives. But there's that subset of us that are very well aware of it. And if we aren't choosing to use it when we're aware of it, that's when we start seeing kind of like issues happening. It's sort of like if you were a kitten and you decided that you wanted to be a fish because that's what you wanted to do, but you could also like, and so you're like wet, but you're a cat, so you don't really like water, right? We've all seen cats with water.
Yeah.
And so there's sort of this issue that happens where when we just surrender and allow it to come to and through us and use it, that's where the swimming happens. That's where the traction happens and beautiful, wonderful, amazing things unfold from it.
Yeah, powerful. So what were some shifts, and actually one specific shift that when you made that shift, things clicked in a new way?
Oh, that is a great question. Really being in the presence now. So often, and this is how we're raised. We're raised on a clock, and it makes sense. Like we got to get to school, we got to get to work. Our parents got to get to work, right? Got to get to dance class. And so we have like past, present, future. And so often we're not in the present. We're in the future thinking about what I want to do or where I want to be or where I have to be in 30 minutes. Or we're in the past going, oh my gosh, that conversation with my friend, did I actually like, is she mad at me now? Like, so our brains, when you're fully present in the moment, you can allow that to come to and through you more powerfully. And you can have that, like the full heartedness, right? So I've been shown that like the God center, the universe center is in your heart, right? And so when you can breathe into the moment, being so fully present, that's where your power is. And the power is to do good, right? The lovely thing is I actually made like a Facebook post about this earlier, which was anything that we're affirming, making vision boards for, praying, doing like woo-woo things, right? It's all coming to and through us as God's source universe. So it's not us manipulating other people. It's not us as right. That's very egotistical. It's not us as a human being like, oh, I can go out there and like do this thing, right? It's like, no. This is the universe moving to and through us. It's always for the highest and greatest good. It's always that God doing that work. And so when we're so fully in the present, that is where that is the most powerful and where you will see the most movement instead of future or past.
Yeah, so useful. So when you made the shift to be in the present moment, now how do you stay in the present moment on a regular basis?
Excellent question. So it's taken a lot of practice. I was saying this to a client recently because what I'm about to say is going to be like, wait, you want me to do what? It's like going to the gym or starting to eat more fruits or veggies. For me, I have found that my daily rituals with affirmations and prayers and really being in, like, because it's keeping your brain in the moment, right? It's actually almost the cognitive psychology, right? So my BA is in psychology, and cognitive psychology has you doing a lot of things to keep you out of anxiousness, right? Which is that like past or future, which are just making your brain and body pay attention to the present. And so some of those do look like visualizations or affirmations. Like for an example, if I say, okay, I want you to think of the number 3. Now make it purple. Squeeze your left toe. Then nice and deep into your root. Right. So, and then the pattern would go on it. That's really forcing you to be in the present. So when you can pepper throughout your day various techniques like that, whether it's affirmations or physically making your body and your mind stay in the present, it automatically just keeps you there. And I know it sounds like, wait, you want me to do how much of that? How much a day? Start with morning, start with evening, start with one, and it will become like a habit where you'll be driving, and next thing you know, like your affirmations or your visualizations at the same time are going on, and you can drive safely
Yeah.
all at once.
Yeah. Hold on. So think of number 3. Make it purple. Squeeze your left toe.
Take a deep breath into your root. So you're making your mind and your body at one. You can't anticipate the next thing you're going to say, right?
Yeah.
If I'm going to ask you to maybe wink one eye or think of something. Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Super
because
easy, right?
yeah, it is. It's so easy. But in that moment, I felt like, I'm present in a conversation with you. And even doing it in this moment, it brought me present to being in my body.
Yeah.
Which then what can happen? How is it serving me to do that?
To be in your body?
Yeah, to be in the present moment.
Yeah. So your body is this beautiful portal that God can move through, right? We're all just energy. Our bodies are energy, right? And when you're in the present moment and you're allowing that portal to be fully open, that's where you're going to get the most traction. It's sort of like my earbuds probably like the case. I had it charged it all last night, right? Probably wasn't fully plugged in.
Yeah.
When it's not fully plugged in, guess what happens? Your earbuds die when you're on an interview with them, right?
Yeah.
The same thing with your body. If you're not fully present, not that your body's going to die. It's that whatever it is that you're bringing into the world isn't going to come through because it's not fully charged.
Yeah. The reason why I ask is because we hear it so often, be in the present moment. And I don't know that we are often aware of the value of, especially right now with everything that's going on. I think maybe even 5-10 years ago, we could get away with not being in the present moment as much. But I think where we are right now, and just with everything going on in the world and being, even if there weren't things going on, we are so distracted, right? There's always something pull our mind, our attention, and it takes extra work these days to be in the present, yet it's so much more important. Like I heard, yeah, go ahead.
I'm agreeing with you, and it's, technology is wonderful. It's how you and I can do this right now, right?
Yeah.
And it's how everyone listening is able to receive this as well as help other people. But there's this, I always have this joke, which is if I have more clients, I need more time in the barn with the horses. That there, like what keeps me as a clear channel for myself and other people is that is as important as sitting down and doing my media or meeting with colleagues, right? Because it slows me down. And for me, I'm an earth. I know some people are water, but I'm an earth. And so I need that connection. So it's like for anyone listening, what's your barn? What's your horses? What's that? That's going to naturally keep you in the present moment and make you happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard somebody say the other day, they were channeling Buddha and they were asking Buddha, how did you do it? How did you just stay in a state of, peace? And he said, life was simpler then. So Buddha said, when I walked the earth, life was simpler then. I didn't worry about my mortgage. People put me up and I could just sit all day and stare into the sky with a smile on my face and ponder and allow myself to be in the present moment, seeing what comes through for the wisdom. And I'm like, we don't give ourselves enough credit for the world we are living and wanting to be the awakened, enlightened masters at wherever point we are, but we're not accounting the challenges that we've created as humanity to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I'm make a little joke here about that. So where I am right now is like 30 minutes outside of town, and I went to visit a friend, and I was like, this morning I went, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get back to get online to do this. So I got to sit down and go, where can I have internet? Where can I have some semi-privacy so that I can do work so I can do this, right? So it even threw in this extra step of, hey, I got to figure this out so I can do this thing to talk to these people about. Now, granted, luckily I was familiar with the town, right? So I knew exactly where to go, but it was just one more thing for my brain.
Yeah, one more thing to manage, to calculate, to figure out. Yeah, absolutely. So having grace with that like these are the circumstances that of the current way of life on planet Earth, and they're good in so many ways, and we are managing so much more that is taking us out of a present moment on regular basis.
Yeah. And it's almost like a catch-22, because when you can be so grounded and in the present moment and doing whatever your force equivalent is, you're going to get all the insights and downloads that are saying, well, here's how you can make life simpler. Here's how you can, maybe put together a spreadsheet to make paying the bills simpler, to free up some headspace so that you can get more channels like this. But you have to have the time and the ability to. So it is a little bit of a catch-22. The neat thing is it's just like, start where you're at.
Yeah.
Start where you're at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes I call it my thinking time. Like I need time to just actually think, like let my thoughts go somewhere without having to force them to be present to what I'm doing, because I'm doing something that needs to get done.
Yes, absolutely. And background frequencies are a huge favorite of mine. Like just get on YouTube for free and type in like frequencies or hertz, healing or grounding or inspiring or whatever it is. And it can make some of that like thinking, or at least for me, that more mundane humanness stuff so much easier to tackle. Like, oh, okay, I get to listen to my frequencies. And I always suggest that to clients. I'm like, here's a way to make it playful. Like, let's make it playful. Our brain, was it going to argue with play? Maybe, but
we can override that easy.
Argue with play, then like, oh, here, go tear down this brick house with a sledgehammer. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you do on a regular basis to keep yourself in the high frequency, in the energy of what you create? Because you're creating some amazing things. And at the same time, stay in, as a business owner, the management, excuse me, the management of business things.
Yes. It's been a journey for sure. One of the biggest things that I have found is not allowing the people, places, things in my life that are not of the same frequency to be in my life. And sometimes, you'll have it happen, right? You meet someone that's you're getting to be friends with, and then you're like, ooh, negative Nelly, love you, but can't be spending every night with you because I can't, no, right? And it's a management of where my time, my energy, and my resources go. That's why you see me with animals and kids so much if you're on my social media, because that makes me thrive. Right? That makes me like, everyone's like, you're glowing. I'm like, I'm with kids and animals. Of course I'm glowing. Like that I'm an earth baby.
Yeah.
So it's really about being cognizant and then letting myself step into that more masculine role for when I need to put that thinking cap on. And I'm a Capricorn and a type A. So like it does come a little bit easier to me to sit down and do that stuff. But I do still feel some of that, like, I don't want to sit down and look at the books because I'm going to have to get into some system and look at some chart or spreadsheet. Like I did that in college. I did that in business management. I don't want to do that again. But then I put on some frequency music and I sort of pump myself up and then I get into it, and then I have to drop it. And then it's like almost like I walk into a room and there I am in that masculine, and then I have to come out of the room and shut the door,
Mm.
because if I don't, next thing you know, I'm all like, all right, well, I'm gonna plan everything down to the very last moment, and I'm when I should be outside with a horse.
Mm-hmm.
So there's very much this give and take, and having to realize where I'm at and to stop myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So great. I love that you're spending a lot of time with horses. You keep bringing it up, and I'm like, horse medicine is so powerful.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? They're such great healers, they're such good communicators, and they're freedom,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can break a horse, but you can't really break a horse in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So beautiful. Okay. So let's talk for a few minutes about the time you knew when the way you were taught how to do things, the way you knew how the world works started to shift, and you started to operate in this new way of being that has led you to where you are right now.
So there was no big epiphany. The good news, at least for me, was I throughout my childhood and teenage years, everything was sort of peppered in. Like I remember playing with like little fairies and angels and seeing ghosts and all that stuff. And my family would just sort of be like, "Oh, okay, whatever." Like the good news was it was never demonized or told bad or wrong. It was in my young adulthood that I really said, "Hey, how can I harness this? How can I bring this together more?" And I didn't realize the vastness. Actually, it's quite funny. I'm sitting at the Barnes and Noble that I bought my very first books at about angels and healing and metaphysical stuff, right? And I walked past the book section, which is much smaller now. And I'm like, oh, I could write every single one of those books. But
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, it seemed overwhelming, right? And so I literally just start where you're at, which subjects calls to you. For me, it was angels. So I like
Mm-hmm.
started reading about the angels and started learning to work through intuition that way. And then it just sort of unfolded like
Mm-hmm.
any other hobby, right? Maybe it's like you get into hobby trains, and the next thing you know, you have your own little speeder train. Like it might not have started with a speeder train, it may have started with a teeny little train at home, but it just builds up.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that reason, I was quite lucky. I do have a lot of colleagues and friends that were like, one day I just woke up and it was here and my whole life changed. And I was like, oh no, I was always the weird kid.
Yeah.
I was always the weird kid. It's all good.
And then one day you decided to use it. You start using it.
So when I went to college, my degree, like I said, my BA is in psychology, and I always knew I wanted to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working full time at that point while getting this degree in business management. So like two totally different things that beautifully did come together for me to be
Yeah.
a business leader. However, at the time, right, I'm like 20, 21, didn't want to be working full time. Would rather have gone to school full time, which I eventually did for a little bit. But this was also when I was first learning about angels and tarot and intuition. And I was like, well, can't I use this thing that I help people with and this thing that I help people with?
Mm-hmm.
Can't they be one? And that is really where some of the catalysts started coming when I was looking at graduate schools. I took the GREs, I did some graduate school tours. And back then, there wasn't anything other than cognitive psychology was great, by the way, but there wasn't anything where I could harness both of these. Now there's more like positive psychology, which is a
Yeah.
little bit of like the personal experience, but it didn't get into the soul.
Mm.
And so honestly, after all this schooling and all this investment was like, nope, not going to go get my PhD. I'm going to help people in a different way. And it was a couple decade of wonkiness and really getting traction, but it all beautifully came out this other end. So much of the business stuff I have is because I worked for Fortune 500 companies. I had training at Fortune 500 companies because I had to provide for myself. And then I have the psychology side, which is not that I do psychology, but that the confidentiality, the showing up as a leader, the not putting your stuff right, on somebody else. Like there's these two things that I never, again, 20-year-old Amanda that hated the fact that I had to do these two opposing things. Well, hey, guess what? It worked out perfectly for what I've been doing. So, side note, when you really, really don't want something, think about where it might be leading you.
Ah, yeah, it's happening. You are in it. What is it? What is it? The step that you are in, what is it leading you? And how will it be used eventually sometime in the future where you might need it?
Yes, and that is something, especially on this journey or business journey. I mean, there's going to be times where it feels like something bad just happened, and you're
Yeah.
like, so I always go, all right, God, where are you pointing me? What are you trying to show me? How should I be? How should I take this? And it doesn't mean it solves or that the epiphany comes right away. Sometimes it's, I have to wait. I have to be patient because I'm learning something that's going to help me and other people. I'm a very impatient person. Results like yesterday. I'm so results focused, right? Which is part of my training in business management and psychology, like those all together, all those statistic classes. So patience, patience.
I just heard a definition of patience yesterday, somewhere, I don't remember where. Patience is not about learning how to wait. It's about being okay when things don't happen when you think they should.
And as an intuitive, that can be so frustrating. You're like, but I saw, I knew. And it's like, yeah, but take a breath. We're teaching you something. You get to be the student this time.
Yeah. Wow. And I think a lot of us are being taught that. But then in those moments, sometimes people take it, and tell me if this is true, if you've seen this, especially being results oriented. Sometimes we can take it a little too far, where we wait because we're afraid to take a step.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Really learning yourself, like, where's your edge? Where's your edge? And when do you run away from your edge? And when should you push? And when should you be patient? And that just comes with experience, trial and error, at least on my half, from what I've seen and what I've gone through. Trial and error. With each step you take, you'll know. You'll know because of what happens or doesn't happen.
You know, that's so valuable. You will know because you have tried it. You have tried taking a step, and you went to the left, it didn't work. You went to the right, it did. Okay, this is how I feel. This is how I'm guided. This is when I move forward. So I cannot believe I'm looking at the clock. We're coming to the end of our time together. And I still want to, I know it goes by so quick. I still want to ask you a big question. Where do you see us going as the old falls away? Because it is. I mean, I think we still don't understand truly fully what it means. The old goes away, even though it is. Where do you see us going?
So much more community focused as a collective. And that, I mean, when I say community, that's different for everybody else, right? But one thing I've been shown in the collective is no matter where we live, what political affiliation we have, when we sit down and have dinner or lunch, right? Break bread with someone, we're so much alike and we love each other and understand each other so much. And it's like, that is what I'm seeing as where we need to go as humanity to thrive. And it might look like more people homesteading. It might look like more people coming together with little like own villages, communities, right? It doesn't have to be some like global destruction like is going on in the news and whatnot. Like, stay away from the news. Get what you have to get and then stay away from it.
Yeah.
Because we're going back. It's like we can go forward because we're going back to humanity, the human experience, the soul, I see your soul and I see my soul in you. So of course we're one. And from there, the moon isn't even the limit. It's beyond that.
Yeah, so beautiful. And what do you see for those of us who are working so hard in our online presence? And I'm being a little facetious when I say so hard. For those of us who are working to create online presence, to build our businesses, what is all that when we are going back to community?
Great question. So what I keep getting is connect even more with your colleagues.
Mm,
And so I don't, it's not networking. It is not networking. It's
mm.
like heart to heart connections. I've even had this message and have like contacted people that were clients forever ago and was like, hey, let's just have a Zoom. Like, I'm gonna be in my bikini because I was in Florida. Like, I'm gonna be in my bikini, but like, let's just like pop on and catch up. I'm not trying to sell you anything.
Yeah,
Like, I'm truly just interested in you. And it was the most beautiful, like 30 minutes, right?
yeah.
So it's like more of that.
Mm.
That opens the path, if that makes sense.
Intentional connection versus going to exchange phone numbers or business cards or going to see what have you got that I can use. It's in those intentional connections that the information will come through. And yeah, I just got that the warm feeling of sometimes, you know, because I am very much, when you were saying results oriented, that's not my nature, but I was trained into that. So having conversations, unless it's going to propel my life forward, why would I waste my time, is what I was taught, right? And I've always known that's not the way, that's not a natural way for humanity. And even as you shared it right now, I just felt the importance of really intentionally connecting versus going to networking events or however else we built in the past. Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, it's funny. It's like a result of that is just the heart to heart because it
Yeah.
feels good.
Yeah. Oh, heart to heart, just because you feel called to in the moment to connect with that person in that moment, being with them because it feels good. And you just never know what's going to come of it, directly or indirectly, what ripple is going to shift and create what wave.
Exactly.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Skip a stone. You're having fun skipping the stone. You're not skipping the stone because you're like, I expect 10 fish to come up in the air.
Yeah.
You're just skipping the stone.
Wow.
Feels good.
That's really good. I'm skipping a
Yeah.
stone because it feels good versus I'm expecting 10 fish to come up. So I'm gonna skip the stone. That's I'm very visual and I totally got the visual and the stress of one versus the joy of the other. Yeah, so great.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Amanda, as
It's
we
going to
wrap
be a new
up,
Facebook post.
say it again.
It's going to
Say
be a
it.
new Facebook post now.
Yeah, it is. Do it. It's really, I mean, it says so much in that one parable, the metaphor. I just was like, oh yeah, that's the essence of what you are sharing. So powerful. So Amanda, as we come to
Thank
the end
you.
of our conversation in a salon this time, I know it goes by so quick. I know you have a gift for our audience. So you guys know it's the button below the video. Oh, I love when Zoom does that. Could you tell us what's behind the button?
Yes. So this is a guided meditation with me singing a little bit. So my secret sauce is I sing to people
Wow.
on top of guiding them. And what this helps you do is come to that level of discernment. It takes you out of good or bad, right or wrong, left or right, and lets you pull back and see things from up here, keeping you in the moment, keeping you in your power.
Ooh, you know, and a sound is one of the ways, one of the waves of the future of healing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for this very generous gift. Yeah, so amazing. So make sure you click the button below the video, claim the gift, tune into the frequency of the song Amanda shares in that gift, and get into her world. It's a juicy place to be. So great to have had you in the salon, Amanda. Thank you for rerouting whatever you had to reroute to be able for us to have this conversation so we can spread your wisdom and share the energy with our audience. Thank you.
Thank you.
So great. So one more time, make sure you click the button, claim the gift, enjoy the experience, allow your body and soul to enjoy the high frequency of what Amanda shares in it, get into her world, and we'll see you at the next conversation. Bye for now.